What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Solana because it's done exactly what we talked about in yesterday's video, and I want to tell you what I'm expecting next. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into the video. Now, guys, don't forget, if you do want to trade a little Solana on up to 500x leverage, although I don't recommend 500x leverage, you can check out that link to BTCC down below. Guys, if you do sign up and deposit, what you are going to get is insane. On all first-time deposits between $500 and $100,000, they're going to give you 10% back to be able to trade. So say, for example, if you deposit $2,000, they're going to give you 10% back to trade completely for free, guaranteed, no strings attached. And say if you trade that and turn it into $500, that $300 in profit you made is yours. You get to keep it, again, no strings attached, which is absolutely insane to be able to possibly get free gains in this, especially in this market. And so go check that out down below. This is one of the best deals I've ever put together here on the channel. I don't know how much longer it's going to be active. I know hundreds of you have signed up already, so feel free to go check that out down below and let me know what you think. Now, looking at Solana, okay, in the last video, we were talking about the fact that it was very, very likely that Solana broke through the downside of this channel. Now, I actually want to play you really quickly what we said in yesterday's video just to update you on how we got here, okay? So let's go ahead and play this really quickly. So statistically speaking, whenever crypto is in an ascending channel and it breaks to the downside, it's going to have some things called bounce zones. These bounce zones are going to be levels in which you can expect the price to try to bounce off of and continue back to the top side. Now, identifying those bounce zones is actually rather easy. What you're going to look for are the times in which you most recently touched the bottom side of this channel, meaning right here and meaning right here. From there, you're just, and I guess there's one right there as well. And what you're going to do from there is you're just going to draw horizontal lines from those moments. So what we were talking about was the fact that usually we see these ascending channels break to the downside. That's just normally what happens. And because of that, we needed to prepare for the bounce zones, which I told you how to identify them, are right here. And what you can see is that, I mean, look where we were in the channel and look where we are now. That is exactly how this played out. We came back down to bounce zone number 1. We tried to maintain it. We lost that one. We came back down to bounce zone number 2 and 3. And now we're using bounce zones number 2 and 3 to try to break to the upside, exactly as we were speaking about in yesterday's video. So what I want to go over today is what I'm expecting next, how I'm feeling about this, and more. So where I am right now is I'm in an okay spot, but there is something that I'm watching very closely. And for me to be able to show you, I just need to get rid of everything off the chart. So what I'm watching very closely right now is the formation that Solana is making, because it is giving me very, very, very little moment where I'm like, hold on now, are we forming a head and shoulders pattern right now? And I'm sure that I've drawn it out and you can start to see. Because I've seen double-headed head and shoulders for Solana at least 3 or 4 times over the last 5 years. In which you have a left shoulder, you have head, so a double head and shoulders, and then you have right shoulder. And so obviously that's not the best thing if you're a bull, right? Under the circumstance in which this is a head and shoulders, what we would be looking for is a loss of support around that $230 level. And if that happens, there is now a breakout target for Solana. If we take the distance from the head all the way down, that will give us a breakout target for Solana back to $213, which could be a possible pullback of about 10 to 12%. Now, is that the scariest thing in the world? No, it's not the scariest thing in the world, but it is something that you should be prepared for, because what I'm noticing at the time of recording this video is Solana struggling a little bit. If you see this 4-hour wick that's currently being made, we can actually realize that this is it running into that 618 to 786 Fibonacci zone and getting rejected. And it doesn't mean that it's going to stay getting rejected, but as of when I'm recording this, it is getting rejected. And when you're seeing that sort of resistance and the bear stepping in while you're possibly creating some type of head and shoulders, you need to be aware that this bad boy might take a turn for the worse sometime soon. And so what I want you to pay attention to very, very closely is whether or not we stay above $230 and break 244. Right here, if we break 244, we're good. If we break 244, the door now opens at 250, we're fine, and validates the head and shoulders. Or if we're going to start pulling back towards the downside and lose 230. Personally, I'm not doing anything right now. Now that I see this possibly forming, I'm just going to wait. I want to see what side of this range it breaks first. Does it break to the top side of this range and continue upwards? Or do we break to the bottom side of this range and continue downwards? Because that is where I think it will go, depending on the direction that we break out of. And so for me, when we're in the middle of a range like this, a very important range, I'm not going to be doing any buying. Of course not. Because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to go up or if we're going to go down. There's no way of knowing. No one knows. And if you expect people to know, you're being delusional. There's no way to know. But what we can do is say, okay, wait, hold on now. Well, if we break to the upside, $253 to $260 is very likely. So if we do break to the upside, a long trade with a nice tight stop loss is probably a decent idea because we can snag up some decent gains there as we go for the extension. Or you could say, well, if we break to the downside, downside, we could expect Solana's price to try to push back towards $222 to retest this previous point of resistance, and from there we can try to flip some support. So if you want to do a small short trade with a very tight stop loss, you can. I personally am not. I would just be doing a little bit of accumulating once we hit that lower level. So instead of trying to guess what's going to happen here and either being right or wrong, we can react to whatever or respond to whatever, move that we get from Solana here, and then make gains on both sides. That's a better approach for me because it guarantees me higher percentages at possibly making money, which is the goal. And so what I'm doing with Solana right now is I'm waiting, people. I'm waiting to see, do we break to the upside or do we break to the downside of this range? Because that's going to determine where we're very likely to go, which can then determine the trade that we should put in place to be able to make some money. So look out for that. Pay very close attention. It does feel as if this is a possibility. And again, if we do see Solana's price break to the downside of this head and shoulders, we would have a breakout target back around 213 bucks. So of course, like usual, guys, every single day I will continue to update you on these different cryptos, XRP, Solana, Pepe, Shiba, and much more. And I will tell you, if any of this ever feels complicated, if it ever feels complex, I did release a technical analysis for beginners guide over in my Patreon, which is $5 a month. For $5 a month, you're going to get 5 beginners courses that I'm working on right now. The first one just released, which is technical analysis for beginners. We're going to do fundamental analysis, leverage trading, meme coin investing, and altcoin investing. Those are all going to be available extremely soon. And then on top of that, you're going to get daily technical analysis reports from me. As you can see here, you're going to get daily fundamental analysis reports from me, daily technical analysis reports from me, and my thoughts and insights on news and things that happen in the market. And so feel free to go check that out for $5 a month or for $1 a month. You can just join the Discord, talk to the community, talk to me, ask me questions, and I'll answer them as much as possible. So feel free to go check that out down below. Don't forget, you can get a 10% bonus on first time deposits with that BTCC link down below if you do want to trade on up to 500x leverage and watch Solana very closely. But in about a day, 20 to 24 hours, I'll give you another update on what I'm seeing from Solana. So stay tuned for that. I got about 4 or 5 videos left for today. Stay tuned for those, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.